Hey, hey guys! I am back again for another episode of Sip with Joy. It's the season finale. We have made it through another episode, or not episode, another season of Sip with Joy. Y'all, this is my fifth season, and I made it through a whole year of Sip with Joy. So, I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself because there are times where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Welcome back. And if this is your first time tuning in, this is Sip with Joy, a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton, serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And today's wine is a rosé. This is by Pure Noire Urban Wineries, located here in Houston, Texas. And it is the wine of our guest today. So I'm excited. You know where to find out more of this on about this on Sip with Joy's Instagram page, and that's at Sip with Joy on Instagram. Yeah, I'm excited, guys, to get into today's guest. And I gotta take my sip. Let me know what you all are sipping on in the chat. And welcome. Hey, Elsie. Hey, Galactose. Hey, Angelica. Thank you. Hey, Just Lee. All right, so I am going to go ahead. Oh, and I did say I was drinking a rosé, so there it is right there. And again, I do my sip of the day, so make sure you're following on Instagram. All right, well, we're going to get into bringing our guest up. Hey, Carissa. Carissa is the co-founder, and owner of Pure Noir Urban Wineries in Houston, Texas. So, before I get started, I like to ask what you're sipping on, Carissa. Oh, wait, you're on mute. You're on mute, girl. I can't hear you.
First,
There
thanks
you
for
are.
having me. And speaking of music, let me make sure this phone is muted, honey. Thanks for having me. I'm sipping Pure Noir's 2013 Reserve Merlot, which
Mm.
have you had the Reserve Merlot?
I don't.
I
No,
don't
yes,
think
I
you've had
did. I
it.
have had it. Yes, I have
Okay.
had it. Yes.
So it's a double gold winning 93 point rated wine.
Yes.
It's so good. I know it's only Monday.
Listen, there is no limit to when you can drink wine, okay? There are no rules. So,
There you go.
cheers.
We're gonna get into it.
Yes.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. All right. So, welcome Carissa in the chat. You all show her some love. Okay. So, let's just get into it. So, we're talking about the wine here. I'm drinking your wine. You're drinking your wine. So,
Yes.
tell me how this whole journey came about. And I mean, like, how did you get here? Tell us more about Pinot Noir and yeah, the whole journey.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a true journey. So the brand actually started years ago. My husband Kenneth and I were both serial entrepreneurs as well. We were both working extremely hard. My background is actually corporate tax. So I was working for a Fortune 100 global energy firm in the tax department. And he's an attorney by day. So he was working to build his law practice up. And we're both working very, very hard during that time. And really, always, it's a little bit in our personalities to just be super ambitious and to go really hard for our dreams and for our goals. We met during a business management internship, so that kind of gives you an idea. But in 2016, we had already been married for 2 years by then. We took a much needed vacation. That vacation was to Italy. And
Mm.
while we were in Italy, we visited Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan. But we stayed in a small town called Todi, which is
Okay.
like no one's ever heard of Todi. It's a small town, and geographically, it's actually in the center of all those other great major cities that we've all heard of
Hmm.
and love and appreciate.
Yeah.
But when I tell you Todi is just as, if not more beautiful, tranquil.
Mm.
And of course, going to Italy, we expected to drink great wine.
Right.
But I think for us, there was a real inspiration behind how communal wine felt to us.
Mm.
Here we are, this young Black couple, clear across the world, but being able to have really deep connection over what we were drinking in our glass. And so also understanding that wine is a universal language its art, its history, its culture, and just really deepening our appreciation for wine. When we returned home back to the States, we just geeked out for like for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Wine was literally just a hobby. We didn't come back from Italy and say, let's make wine.
Right.
Actually, it was just a hobby. While we were discovering wine, it was also a rediscovery of each other. And it really became a mutual interest turned passion. So here it is, wine at the center of our best memories and experiences. It's also something that in our spare time, we were literally like reading wine books, watching wine documentaries, literally for fun.
Yeah, I love it.
For fun. And it was just our thing. Like
Yeah.
we was gonna sit on that couch, we were gonna explore new wines, even on our travels to other places, kind of experiencing new places through wine was really important for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then early 2018, I'll never forget. I was sitting on the couch. We were both sitting on the couch working. I was at the time transitioning from corporate to full-time entrepreneurship. So, kind of that anxiety of this is something new, really learning how to trust myself with this transition. So I was going hard, and I was working on a marketing proposal at that time for one of my clients as an independent consultant. He was working on a legal document, and here we are again. This is years after Italy, but finding ourselves like going hard in the paint of work. And I turned to him, and I was really enjoying the work that I was doing. But I looked at my husband, and I thought to myself, he'd have his projects that I would support. I would have my projects that he would support, but I strongly desired a business, a brand that we were both mutually passionate about. That was also something that we could scale, because there's only one me, there's only one Joy, okay?
Right, okay. Listen.
There's only one me, there's only one you. Everybody that's watching this live, there's only one you. And so I think for us to have a product-based business for the first time, we were always service-based.
Right.
So to have a product-based business that we could scale and also share with others, it was a mutual passion. And the epiphany came after, digging into the industry, just looking at industry insights and learning that less than 1% of all global producers are African American. That felt like a problem for us because here we are, serious like enthusiasts of wine, but also as African Americans, present consumers, like in a very real way. And so long story short, that's when we had the epiphany that we had something that we wanted to bring to the market. And we wanted to do it to be a part of the representation that we honestly needed to see as consumers. We were like, we went to our local wine shops, and I remember distinctively asking the wine steward, I was like, you have any Black-owned brands? This was back in 2018.
Right.
I don't think there was one in that particular store. Not one.
That's
and I was
crazy.
just like,
yeah,
we need more. And so that epiphany of, oh my goodness, let's become vintners, manifested into our first wine product, which is Pure Epiphany.
Yes. I've
Our
had that one
flagship
too.
wine.
Yes.
The first wine that we ever started producing.
Yes, I remember.
I know. This was one of your favorites. I do remember that.
It is.
Just 100% proprietary, beautiful red blend, Petite Syrah dominant. Oh, just much like you, Joy. That wine is giving queen.
Yes.
She is bold. She is beautiful, approachable, very fruit forward, but also have a little bit of a spicy side. She does see 18 months of new French oak aging, and so she finishes with a touch of black pepper and subtle warm vanilla, and it's just an extraordinary wine.
It's a beautiful
They were on our third vintage of Epiphany, but and then from there, deciding to produce our first wine product, starting with Epiphany, and then we produced two more, also known as Pure Euphoria, as well as Pure Elevation. And those three together form the basis of Euphoria. And those three wines, the red blend, the rosé that you're drinking, and our white blend, which is Pinot Gris and Sauv Blanc, those three form the basis of the Pure collection, which which was the foundation for the portfolio, which to date we've produced 10 different wines. So,
I
and
love it.
the growth from the product to the tasting room, that's a whole
Ooh,
different
child.
story. I'm gonna have a drink on that note.
I know.
We might
Take
get
a
into that
pause.
too, but
Take a pause. See, I was so excited to get into this conversation that I forgot to tell you all what this episode was all about. I just jumped right into it with Carissa. But the episode is titled "You Can Have Whatever You Like," and so when you're listening to, yes, you got it, yeah. So when you're listening to Carissa talk, it makes so much sense, like how you have manifested the things that you want, and I think that's so important because you want what you want, and so it's like,
yeah,
okay, let's make it happen. And how do we make that happen? And so
definitely.
so this episode is, I think there are so many rules in society about how we're supposed to do things. You
Mhm.
spoke about blacks being in wine. Like, I'm like, it's so many statistics where blacks are less than 1%, less than 1% of black women get funding, less than, you're saying,
Yeah.
less than 1% of African American vintners. Like, it's just crazy. And so I love that you're defying so many odds and breaking so many rules, and so I just admire that. And so when I thought about what we would talk about for this episode, everybody's definition of having it all is different. Everybody's level
Facts.
of success is different. But when I see someone like you, I'm like, she has it all. She has the husband, the baby, the businesses, all that. When I think of my version, and like I said,
Mhm.
everybody's version is different. So I was like, I want to talk about that, and of course,
Yeah.
wine. That's just a
Yeah.
given. But I just love what you have been doing, and y'all. Listen, Carissa is a master brand builder. This is not her first brand. Her and her sister
Look
had a
who's
brand.
talking. Thank you. That means so much coming from you.
Yes, but you and your sister built a brand, a natural hair brand. So she is a queen at building brands, okay? So I'm like, listen, take
That's
notes.
how we met.
Yeah, yes. Well, through JJ's I'm Me Foundation, you all
Yeah.
were talking about Naturally Gigi. So
Yes.
we've known each other for a while.
Yes.
But I just love what you're doing, and like I said, you're just breaking so many barriers. And
Mhm.
so, and like you said, you wanted something, you had this dream, and you're like, how can we do it? So
Right.
okay, so
Mhm.
you talked about your wine journey. So you're married, you have a beautiful daughter. How are you managing it all? Because y'all see what she look like. She don't look like she losing any sleep.
Okay, Joy. I appreciate you. Listen, Joy knows me, okay? And I'm gonna be honest. We did a sound check. I didn't look like how I look right now. I had a hat on, no eye makeup. I said, "Oh,
I
girl,
was
I'm not
like,
gonna
girl,
do this
put the
and that look
lashes,
like
go
this."
put the lashes on, girl.
Lashes, right? Like 2 minutes before the camera came on. Because I'm so proud of you too.
Thank
And what you are
you.
doing is so amazing.
Thank
Everything
you.
that you are doing, even this podcast, and especially this podcast, but you're in so many different arenas as a multi-potentialite. And I just
Oh,
want
I
you to
love that
know that
word.
I'm
I
also
love
a
it.
fan of you, and just, your name is so fitting. Your mother did a great job naming you because you
Oh,
genuinely radiate joy. And I think that's why we have like a kindred connection.
yeah.
So I just appreciate the woman that you are. But having it all, man, like, for me personally, so much has come in its due season.
Mm.
So, there were seasons where I felt like I did not have it all. I desired my life to look a certain way, and I may have had one out of the, 4 or 5 things that I deeply desired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but while we're in that waiting period of really building the life of our dreams, it can be really discouraging.
Mm.
And it took a lot of time. Like, I actually met my husband in 2008. We were
Wow.
collegiates. We were like kids. Like, when I think back to the year that we met, and that's a whole different conversation. We met in college. We were at 2 different schools, and we both landed this really competitive internship. And we met during the internship, but even after the internship ended, we had these huge crushes on each other, but for different reasons we didn't get together. We actually
Mm.
didn't speak for 2 years. 2
What?
whole years because, for different reasons, I
Yeah.
wasn't quite ready
Mm-hmm.
at that time. There was a lot going on. And he asked me, he said, "Well, what are we doing?" And I'd always loved him. Even back in 2008, he was somebody who I could always laugh with.
Yeah.
My memories of '08, I remember my face always hurting every time I was around him because he's so funny. He's also really smart, and I'm attracted to his intellect.
Yeah.
But you know, I told him, I said, well, when I graduate, because I felt like our schools made it a long distance relationship, and I just wasn't
Yeah.
ready for that. It really wasn't long distance, but for me at the time, it felt like it.
Right.
And when we reconnected, it was like God was saying, okay, it's this is it. Like, this is your husband. And
Mm.
I looked at him with a completely different lens. We both had to do a lot of maturing. I'm just going to say that.
Right.
And so I was fortunate to meet my spouse at a relatively young age, but we've had to grow together as well,
Absolutely.
and that's not easy. But I'm so grateful for where we are today. But even during that time, I mentioned I was working for a corporation, and it was a good job, but I was not fulfilled, like, at all. I was not fulfilled, but I appreciated my employment. But every day going to work was like a tug of war with my spirit because I'm a Virgo. Shout out to
Yeah.
all the Virgos.
Earth
So
signs. Yeah.
I really like the practice of anything technical, like learning a trade. But at the same time, I'm a creative. Like, if I'm not creating,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really fulfilled. And so
Yeah.
that's why when I met you, Joy, I was actually doing both. I was working in
Mm-hmm.
corporate, doing Naturally Gigi with my sister on YouTube, and achieving really amazing opportunities as a natural hair beauty brand. Um, but it was a constant tug of war, and I felt like I didn't have my career together. Um, I knew where my passions were, but I had not yet trusted my skill set to be able to carry me forward successfully in my
Right.
life. Like, um, I like contributing to my household in a very real way,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm fortunate to have a husband who, if I didn't want to work, I wouldn't have to work. However, doing what I'm doing now with Pure Noir, I'm so fulfilled. And then as
Yeah.
far as motherhood, a lot of people don't know this about me, but Kamara is actually my rainbow baby. My daughter's name is Kamara. She's my
Yeah.
rainbow baby. And
Oh.
so, him and I, we've been married since 2014.
Yeah.
We were trying to establish ourselves as young professionals. And we waited years before we ever got pregnant for the first time.
Yeah.
And then once that time came, I was like, oh, it's time. We're finally about to be parents. And I
Right.
actually had a second trimester loss at 15
Wow.
weeks.
Mm.
I had announced my
Wow.
pregnancy,
Yeah.
and it was it was literally like the most crushing. It's almost indescribable, like
Yeah.
the pain, the trauma, especially at the stage that I was
Mm-hmm.
at in my pregnancy. I was like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Right.
And so, really, this is giving you like 8 years to
Mm.
10 years of like journey, right?
Yes.
But at each phase of your journey, no matter what season you are in, no matter how hard it is, no matter what it looks like and feels like,
Mm.
and don't look to the people outside of yourself to compare your journey, because you never know what somebody else has
Ooh.
been through
Yes.
to get to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And use me as an example. A lot of people look at what I do and it looks glamorous and it
Mm-hmm.
looks probably easy, a lot easier than it is, because it's really hard every day.
You make it look so sexy.
Kenneth and I still work every day,
Yeah.
literally. There's
Mm-hmm.
no days off,
Yeah.
but the work feels good. And I
Mm-hmm.
think getting in that flow of finding something that I was truly passionate about, that really tapped into all of my interests and skill set.
Right.
It doesn't always feel like work. Sometimes it still does feel like work, but not
Mm-hmm.
always.
Yeah. Well, girl, you look good doing it. Okay. You make it look sexy.
Oh, girl, thank you, girl. We have to make it look good.
Right.
You
That's why
know,
I was like, we can't be out here looking crazy, Carissa.
one
I
thing
was
about a
like,
black woman, we okay, we're gonna make it look good. But no, truly, having it all, and getting to the point where you even feel like you have it all is about embracing the journey.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is. Life will life all day, but embracing our journey, taking things in stride, and
Mm-hmm.
keep your eyes on the prize, keep the faith, and just persevere.
Right. Ooh, girl, you're giving me goosebumps over here. So you've spoken about some of the challenges that you've had along the journey. What have been some challenges, just whether you want to speak to the entrepreneurial side of it or just trying to juggle it all? Because like you said, you may make it look sexy, but it's not,
Mhm.
and a lot of people are not honest about what it really takes. And so when people get into it, they're like, I thought this was easy. So many people make it
Right,
look. No, there's a lot going on behind the scenes here.
for sure.
People don't see me 5 days a week when I'm looking crazy in my
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, this is not what I look like every day, people.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So of course, every step of the way, and I've gotten to the point in life where I really do embrace challenges,
Yeah.
right? I feel like nothing worth having comes extremely easy. Now we are meant for certain blessings and opportunities will fall in your lap, but for me, just an example is like a day in the life of,
Hmm.
setting my alarm clock, taking my daughter to school. She has to be in class by 8 a.m., making sure that I'm maintaining a sense of well being, self care. So,
Hmm.
making sure I hit the gym. Then I'm coming home, and it's usually morning meetings. In the afternoon, it's business development, it's partnership meetings, it's marketing, it's sales, and it's operations.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's, of course, my marriage. Like, a lot of this doesn't really work or work as well without a healthy marriage,
Yeah.
right? Like Kenneth and I have developed the ability to work really well together. And that also came, that was also a journey, but we're
Right.
here now. I would say, even now, the challenge is learning when and where to prioritize
Mm,
all of the different elements of my life,
yeah.
because they're all very important to me, right? Like, of course, my family comes first. And in terms of being a mom, like anything that has to do with Kamara, that day is probably going to take priority. And that's difficult when, you've got deadlines and you've got the top media brand requesting an interview within the hour, but
Right.
the school calls and you have to pick up your daughter. Like, so finding balance used to feel like a myth for
Mm,
me
yeah.
until I realized you can balance, but everything can't be in the air at the same time. Like, it's a juggling act. So,
Yeah.
or everything can't be in your hand at the same time. So, when we're managing all these different things, it's truly a juggling act. But just like all things, you get better at it. It takes
Hmm.
practice.
Yeah.
And as your life changes, you might add a ball.
Right. Recalibrate.
You juggling 6, 7 balls. But I think when you're like really purpose driven,
Yeah.
somehow I've gotten really good at listening with my spiritual ear to determine what needs me most in that moment. And it's humbling as well. It's
Ooh,
humbling, but
I love that.
we can do it,
Yeah.
women. We
Listen,
can.
we have been doing it, okay?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned, self care. So how do you stay grounded? Because you have home life, and then you have to deal with staff. And that comes with a whole other set of challenges.
Yes, it
You said,
does.
"Let me sip. Let me take a sip."
I need a sip.
How do you stay grounded?
Ooh. Well, I have to premise this question by saying my current staff is amazing. We've had to really build this team and rebuild this team.
Hmm.
And as an emotional person, when I first started creating jobs, I felt like people should stay forever.
Yeah.
And I really had to learn quickly. And Kenneth is really good about this. Quick to slow to hire, quick to fire.
Right.
Slow to hire, quick to fire. And I
Hmm.
had to kind of uh, you know, rewire myself as an owner because we have these businesses that we've literally poured everything into.
Hmm.
Pure Noir has required so many resources. Am I frozen?
Uh-oh, you're back.
Oh, here we
Okay.
go. Okay. Yes.
You
Pure
there?
Noir has required so many resources, and it would be a disservice to myself, to my family, and to my business if we did all of this, poured everything into this business, but we allowed people to come into the business
Hmm.
and undo the work that we've done. So, um, but yes, we have a wonderful team that helps me a lot. And as
Hmm.
far as staying grounded, making sure that I do carve out time to myself, also for, like I mentioned, my workouts are really important to me. I'm actually in kickboxing, and I have been in kickboxing for like the
Oh,
past 6 months.
that's a good
Yes,
stress
and I
reliever.
love it.
Yeah.
I love my kickboxing class, and I'm really able to release a lot of tension, a lot of stress. So that's been wonderful. Movie nights, being intentional about closing the laptop,
Right.
doing something entertaining where I can cut my brain off and just just
Unplug.
live
Yeah.
without working.
Yeah.
Those things have kept me grounded. So for sure, that a great team, right? Like hiring the right people is mission critical,
Yes,
literally.
it is.
And my current team is amazing. I'm so grateful for each of them. My general manager, Nikki Harris, she was the first person that we ever hired before we ever launched our wine product. So she's been with us
Wow.
since early 2020.
Yeah.
And she's just like a strong third leg.
Hmm.
And so she helps out so much. And our associates are really great. We have such a great culture now at the winery. So even behind the scenes, like there's no drama, everybody gets along. But that did have to have some time to kind of go through like a weeding process,
Hmm.
and make sure that it's the right team.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Woo, yeah. Hire, yeah. Working with the team, yeah, you got to get it right. You
Yes.
definitely have to get it right. So, speaking of team, what does your support system look like?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't think I've been asked that before. But definitely my GM. Um, as far as Pure Noir, the staff. In my personal life, Pam Gardner, my mom, we probably wouldn't be doing any of this if
Yeah.
it were not for the support of my mother.
Mm.
Kenneth's family does not live in Houston. We are based in Houston. I'm a born and raised Houstonian, so having my parents, my one and my two, but
Yeah.
especially Pam. Of course, my dad is there. He loves his grandbaby, but Pam, listen, she's come through in the clutch, and so has my dad. So
Yeah.
really, my parents and also my sister.
Hmm.
I have to shout out my sister Amber.
Yeah.
You know her from Naturally
Hmm.
Gigi. She's a wonderful nurse. She's a family nurse practitioner, and she's also a wonderful media personality. So
Yes.
she is an influencer as well.
Hmm.
But she has stepped in as a willful ambassador. She knows Pinot Noir and all of our wines just as well as any of my staff members. She holds it down.
Yeah.
She will keep her niece. She adores her niece.
I
And she's my
love
best
it.
friend as well. Like,
Yeah.
in addition to my husband, my sister is genuinely my best friend.
I love it. Yes, it takes a village, as they say.
It does.
So on the opposite side of having a support system, like you said, people see you on the outside, and people may be comparing themselves to you. So how do you deal with the haters and the naysayers?
Yeah, I really don't.
Nope. Okay. Hello. Yes.
I just
Best
there's
answer
no
ever.
energy that
Best
is
answer
applied
ever.
toward naysayers, like
Yeah.
not even a little.
Yeah.
Um, we've had such great support that
Yeah.
strongly outweighs
Yeah.
a negative comment or somebody who's just trying to stir something up, or somebody who doesn't appreciate what we're doing.
Mhm.
Because I think what we're doing is such a niche business. It's
Yeah.
very unique, as the producers of the wine, but also as an urban winery concept.
Mhm.
We're not for everybody,
Mhm.
and I can be the first to tell you, when you come in there looking for lamb chops and potatoes, we don't operate as a restaurant.
Right.
Come for the wine, stay for the wine. You're gonna also appreciate the vibe.
Yeah.
But in terms of naysayers, I really don't give it any
I
energy
love
because I
it.
can't. I'm so occupied. I'm so busy growing this business
Yes.
and showing up as my best self
Mhm.
and having Pure Noir show up as its best self for the people that understand what we are doing. Even if you don't quite understand, but you are excited to experience it for yourself,
Mhm.
then that's our people. That's the pure peeps. Even if
Yes.
you've never stepped foot at our business location,
Mhm.
but you follow us online and you're planning to in the near future, you're part of the pure peep community,
Yeah.
and that is who we focus on. We don't
Mhm.
give any time and attention to haters or naysayers.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Period.
Right.
Okay. So we're gonna do a quick rapid fire.
Ooh,
So pick the one that resonates with you the most, and then we're gonna
gotcha.
tell everybody where to find you, where to buy this amazing wine, all that stuff, where to find you in Houston. Okay. So wine train or vineyard tour,
Vineyard tour.
Spanish wine or Chilean wine.
Spanish wine.
I was like, Spanish, Spanish. Cabernet or Merlot?
Oh, I have to go with Merlot
Yes.
because it's what I'm drinking. And I think that so many people have come into Pinot Noir and they're not sure how they feel about Merlot, and they
Yeah.
taste ours and they're like, this is the best Merlot I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's Kenneth's favorite varietal.
Hmm.
So we've become a little bit of a Merlot house, and these
Yeah.
Merlots, they're unlike any Merlot that,
They really are. They really are.
thank you.
Okay, stem or stemless?
Definitely stem.
Okay.
It's the stem life for
Wine.
me.
Yes, yes. I gotta have a stem. I like to hold the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah.
um, Wine on tap or canned wine?
On tap. I'm supposed to
Okay.
be answering fast. On tap.
Okay, oaked or unoaked?
If it's red oaked. But honestly, I like white oaked sometimes, but I don't like overly oaked white.
Yeah, yeah, same. Okay,
I like a clean white profile.
okay. So we know Kenneth's favorite is Merlot out of the Pure Noir collection. So what is your favorite Pure Noir wine?
Pure epiphany.
Okay, that's my favorite too.
Yes.
Okay, yay. Okay, so what is next? Or what's happening that you want everyone to know about? Because I know you like, girl, I'm just trying to get through today. Don't ask me what's next. But what is happening that you want everyone to know about? Tell us where to buy the wine, where to visit in Houston. I dropped the IG on YouTube at Pure Noire, so make sure you guys follow PURNOIRE. All right, so tell us what's happening and where we can get this
Yes.
wine.
There's so much happening in Pure Noir urban wineries behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I can't share most of what we're working on,
Right.
but I will say we are growing, and you definitely want to join our mailing list.
Okay.
It's very easy to do. You go to our website at purenoirwines.com, scroll to the bottom of that homepage, and put your email in. It is free, it is fast, and it is easy. And we will be sending updates very soon this
Okay.
fall about really, really, really big and exciting news. But also just some of the upcoming events I'm very excited about. most of our audience already knows that we're in partnership with some of the theater organizations in downtown Houston.
Okay.
A lot of people don't realize that Houston actually is the second largest theater district in the nation,
Yes.
second only to Broadway in New York. And so we are really big on art at the winery. We have lots of original paintings hanging. We do lots of events that incorporate art, whether that's music, whether that's visual art. So we are in a new partnership. In addition to the Houston Symphony, also the Houston Grand Opera did reach out. So we've been working with the opera to bring some really exciting co-branded events, including a Pure Noire night at the opera, which I can't wait to share the date soon. Yes. And so there's a lot going on immediately with events, but also with the growth of the brand that you definitely want to stay tuned. And you can follow us on all platforms at Pure Noire. That's PURNOIRE. And you can definitely shop bottles on our website. You just go to the shop tab. We also have an events calendar. You can see what's coming up. And then we do offer wine tastings every day that we're open. And we're open 6 days a week, Tuesday through Sunday. And there's something different every day. But the one thing that is going to remain the same is excellent service, excellent wine, and a pure good time.
I love it. But listen, you got it. You got it. Y'all see why? Look. Yes, so you all go and buy some wine from Pure Noire. It's really good. If you're in Houston, make sure you visit. So glad to have you on my season finale.
Happy finale.
Thank you. Love you so much. And
Love you.
thank you again for showing up and always just showing up as you. I love it. I love you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you again. And all right, my sippers, I will see you guys in October.
At Pure.
Yeah, you said in Europe.
At Pure.
Right, at Pure. Right. I'll be at Pure too, right? There with my wine. Yes. So make sure you guys go and follow. Cheers. And thank you again. Y'all show Carissa some love. And yeah, I'll see you guys next season.
Yay. Congratulations, Joy.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Bye.